Alright, alright, alright. Alright. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time for game number 6. It is going to be LRM game stepping up to the plate. He needs 2 kills for LRM to win. Largo needs 1 more kill for the all kill. Or even if he loses, Reps can send another player. I honestly hope it does come down to a game 7 because it's always the most exciting. But let us see what happens. It's going to be on Outlier. Here we go. I think Game would actually do well to pick Protoss on this map since it is Protoss Haven. I expect a PVT. And indeed, we shall get one. So, at the 12 o'clock, we have the illustrious leader of Team LRM. And it is none other than Game! Oh! And, in the bottom right, as the return, we will have Reps Largo. Yes, that was really game. Yeah, as I said, this is a really nice map for Protoss, and Game's actually done a pylon scout here, which is unusual on most maps, but I don't know, I mean, Outlier is a pretty crazy map. It's very, very similar to Outsider, which is a classic, awesome map. And Game, unfortunately, despite having a 50-50 shot, will scout his opponent second. He's going to go meander over there now. And looks like Game is immediately going to start with the proposition. What the hell? Game apparently a little bit frustrated. Largo though, not accepting his advances. What the fuck is going on? Oh, it looks like Game trying to man a pylon there. Not going to succeed. It looks like Largo gonna get a bit luckier. Scout his opponent first. Now Game has built his gateway right next to his ramp here, which of course will let his goons walk over to his opponent's base a little bit faster, but of course conversely if he gets like 2-factored or something, it's going to come under fire from the high ground, which is going to be quite annoying. And just a second pylon. Looks like everything's standard so far. 1 ground gas indicates a FD, a fake double into expansion. And the probe guy, oh, couldn't get a mana pylon? Nah, that would have been pretty sick. Well, what is Game doing? Still got 3 guys on gas. He's going to build a pylon probably. Yes. And somehow this probe is actually still alive. Oh, can it trick itself out? Oh, no, he did it wrong. He needs to go on that side. Oh, he did it wrong. He went on the right side. No, you have to touch the left side. And then push yourself. Oh, you messed up. Clearly hasn't played enough Volcano Run. Has anyone here played Volcano Run? That UMS is the shit, man. If you've ever played Volcano Run, you can jump minerals and like neutral buildings like a god. Because when you have like 80 trillion invincible lings chasing after your probe, man, that's like some serious pressure right there. Like, you think trying to jump a mineral in a game is pressure? No. You try having like a million red invincible Zerglings running after you, then you're like shitting yourself trying to jump those through those pylon jumps, man. And then you have like a bunch of retarded people in the same game who are trying to jump at the same place, so they keep blocking you with their pylon. You're just like, come on, dude, just go, just get it. And they just like they can't figure out how to jump it, and just like, oh my god, you just like kill their probe with your probe and just BM them. It's pretty amazing. So game, losing 2 probes already. Complaining about BM, but I think it's just bad. It's a bad game. Anyway, I like the spotting depot at the top, just making sure nothing sneaky is going on over here. Very common trick to like poke to push DTs through or something. And otherwise, it is just gonna be an FD, as I said. Meanwhile, a counter scout has been denied. Game actually opening with 2 gate. That's not very common unless you're me and you're bad. So I don't know. Game's doing less than optimal opening here. However, it will shut down the FD quite nicely if he micros it decently. I mean, you don't really need 2 gateways against an FD. Not really. Just micro it. Just micro. Do the micro. This is actually a strong FD though, with 2 tanks and like 8 Marines. So actually maybe this decision was correct by game after all. Huh. Damn. This game knows better than I do. Because actually if he did just go 1 gate, he might be in a bit of trouble here. But as it stands, I think he'll be okay. Should be okay. Shouldn't really be losing to FD when you 2 gate, even if it is a strong FD. Yeah, look at that. No goons dead just yet. Half the Marines gone. The mines are going to be a bit annoying though, because he did delay his robo a little bit. So he went 2 gateways and then a nexus, and then he's going to get a robo at some point. He's going to be a little bit careful about these mines. Oh, nice little hold position control there. But he can't actually move out and kill these because of those mines, so that's like really annoying. Oh, that's a mistake by Largo to lose that though. Where's the robo? I don't see it. No robo just yet. Interesting little perimeter pylons by game though. Oh, he might snipe a tank though. That should not be happening. Largo should not let that happen at all. He just wants to poke a little bit, but stay well in range of the mines, so he doesn't lose those tanks. However, while this is going on, he has gotten his own expansion up, so that's quite good. Oh, and it looks like game just wants to go and bust it. This is going to be quite dangerous though. Oh god, this is going to be very dangerous. He's going to get it. Ooh. It's quite costly, but of course he does want to break that before the contain is set up, because if that contain gets set up this early, it's just like stupidly annoying. But Largo actually didn't rally any more tanks in, even though he got a relatively quick siege mode follow-up. So I'm a little bit surprised by that actually, that he didn't have another siege tank coming in. Huh. Interesting. I guess he just wanted the faster vulture reinforcements. But as it stands, I think it's fairly even at the moment. I think if Largo had saved those 2 tanks, actually, he'd probably be in a better shape, be in a much better position. Because the initial siege tanks from the Terran are actually so crucial. This first 1 or 2 tanks. Sniping those for the Protoss is so good. Anyway, game looks like he's going to trick a probe through this time, successfully, and go take that back island, semi-island expo. Meanwhile, as I said before, nice little circumference perimeter, whatever fucking math. Little ring of pylons around his base, just spotting any incoming drops and whatnot. Meanwhile, looks like a bunch of mines being placed around the middle of the map just to see any units. This is actually very cool by Largo, just to kind of spread them out a little bit and see, basically get complete vision of the middle of the map. Look at that, just a complete web of spotter mines. Meanwhile, it's like getting an academy up, getting a 3rd command center, relatively quick 3rd, just off 2 factories. Of course, the detection isn't a huge deal, like super fast detection, because he did go for the faster, or for the FD, laid those spider mines in good position, so he's not, and of course he saw so many dragoons, so he's not really scared of DTs or anything like that. Just getting the academy now so he can scan the opponent's base, see what's going on. And just like getting an armory as well. Gonna start working on those upgrades. Look at that really nice map vision by Largo. Look at that, lining up every single base. Perfect map vision for Largo. I really like that. Anyway, looks like the base at the back, and something just died. Not quite sure what. Did hear some explosions or something. Whatever. Anyway, it's like game is going to start mining this out. At least he should. Uh-oh. Does he not realize you can't... Wait. What the hell's going on? Mine it out. Oh man. He like tried to transfer through there? Alright, there we go. Okay, there we go. So now I can fix it. I was going to say, what the heck's going on there? Anyway, getting his forge now, very, very nice timing. Generally, you get your forge as your third is finishing in PvT, or basically once your third is up. And notice he doesn't have a second gas yet. Of course, that's also fairly standard. That's not a mistake. You don't need your second gas that early in PvT. And it looks like Largo just going to float over to the middle third. So Largo looks like he's going to focus on taking the middle of the map, where Game, as you can see, is expanding to the outer ring. It's a very similar dynamic to Outsider, where you would see the same thing. One player kind of focusing on taking the middle of the map, and the other player taking the outside expansions. And it's a very interesting dynamic between the two. On this map, I think it's definitely correct for Largo to be taking the center. The center actually... Like, when I actually first saw this map, when they released it, like the previews, before Pro League started, I actually thought this would be Terran favored, because the middle of the map is so narrow. It's completely narrow corridors, so there's no open space in the middle for the Protoss to actually flank the Terran army. Which means that if it does, like when push comes to shove in the middle of the map, I think Largo will be favored, especially if he like mines out this and like puts some tanks on these high ground pods. It'll be super hard for Game to actually engage him. So Game's gonna like try and expand around the ring and maybe eventually tech up the carriers or arbiters. Basically any of the late game Protoss tech will be really good on this map. Of course, there's a lot of terrain on the map. Carriers should be quite effective, and arbiters, of course, just taking advantage of all the different, or rather of the fact that it's a kind of a windy path and it's hard for the Terrans to get back. Doing some nice recalls into the main should be quite effective. Anyway, looks like Game's just going to poke out with his Dragoons. Just going to clear some of these spider mines in the middle. Notice he's only moving out with a single control group, leaving the rest of his units at home. Doesn't want to get his whole army out of position or anything like that. Just wants to deny all this nice vision provided by these spider mines, and also clear them later on so that if there is a big engagement, he doesn't have to worry about those. Looks like a few vultures going to try and sneak around the side, and this is exactly why you want to leave a few units at home. You don't want to bring your whole army out to do that mine clearing. Meanwhile, though, it is 3 base against 3 base, so Game needs to start thinking about how he's going to take a 4th base fairly quickly. I mean, if he wants to go for the inside one, this one is fairly close, but obviously, as I said before, the Terran is more focused on the inside bases now, so perhaps Game might think about maybe taking the bottom left main. I think that might make sense. I mean, this is not necessarily a bad base, though, to take. It's still a little bit of a ways for the Terran to push up there. But I think maybe bottom left main might be better. We shall see. It is quite far away from his own bases, though, so it's harder to defend. Bit tricky. Oh, looks like the probe. Oh, alright, so he might just go take this base instead, 9 o'clock, inside 9. I'm actually not sure. Like, this base versus this inside 12. I mean, this inside 12 is much closer to his natural, so it's like easier to defend. And I think they're fairly equidistant from the Terran's natural / third. I mean, this might be slightly more vulnerable, actually, so maybe this is better. I don't really know. Anyway, what's going on in the main bases? Looks like facility is up. Do we have a second armory yet? No second armory. Should be up by now. Yeah, he does have 1-0, so should be getting 2-1. Maybe it's somewhere else that I don't see. Got a nice army, but fairly passive game. It's like 6 factories. And okay, there's a second army. Meanwhile, yeah, looks like Game is going to take the inside 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gateways. And 2 stargates pumping arbiters. A 3rd stargate even going up. That's a little bit surprising. Is that... He's not getting +1 attack. I don't think you need 3 stargate arbiters, but... I don't know. I already doubted Game once, but uh-oh. Here we go. A big Terran army is moving up the middle of the map here. It looks like Game wasn't quite in position with his units, but he does get some nice elves on top of these siege tanks, tanking the first couple of volleys from the siege tanks. The rest of the army is coming in, but they're kind of moving in from the side. They're moving up a chokes and not really getting a good position, and Game decides to pull back a little bit. He is at 180 supply versus a 150 supply, so he's got a nice supply lead, but just cannot get the good position, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just cannot get the position. I don't know where the hell these probes are going. What on earth are they doing down there? Are they like, what the fuck? I don't even know. some weird pathing thing going on there, but it looks like, oh, this push is so painful. Where'd the shuttle go? It looks like actually a lot of tanks. Oh, there's the shuttle, and can we get some good mine bombs? One more zealot run into the middle, not quite. And Game could be in a bit of trouble here. He's still got a lot of supply though. I don't know where it all is. He's just got more units. He has got a lot of zealots coming in to reinforce. Might actually have done better to send those around the top side and maybe flank this army, but either way, I think he'll have enough to break this. Not really many reinforcements coming in for Largo, just a handful of units. And Game, yeah, well, with good macro, able to break the push here. Of course, that is probably one of the most important things. You always see in the strategy forums where it's like, oh, I have so much trouble dealing with Terran pushes or whatnot. The solution to like almost every problem is in Brood War is to macro better. Seriously, flanking, zealot bombing, that's all well and good, but if you just have a shit ton of units, it doesn't really matter what happens. Anyway, Game, has he found these probes yet? He's like, did he try and transfer them here, but from a weird location or something? Like, what's going on? Oh, I just realized we don't have game music. Whee! Maybe some vultures trying to sneak around. And looks like we are in fact going to have 3 Stargate Arbiter. Game going all out here. I don't know why there was a scan there. That's like not a very useful location right now. Whoa, I guess because he wanted to run vultures in. Oh, maybe he wanted to like snipe High Templar or something. That's a very common thing, is you check the rally point of the Protoss and see what units are there, and if you can get some juicy High Templar, that's quite nice. But not the case here. And it looks like one vulture has actually found this conga line of probes that have lost their way, and they're actually just all going to die now, having never reached... Looks like Game did not realize at all. He's just like, oh shit, why were they even there? Alright, Game's saying in the chat he actually found them like 4 times, but could not manage to fix it. It's the beauty of Outlier. Anyway, so Largo lost his first push and doesn't seem to be macroing up very well. I mean, he's at 140 supply. He hasn't gotten a 4th base yet. I'm actually not really sure what he's doing right now. Why he doesn't have any things. Have I just been... Did I miss another big engagement or something? Was I just like paying too much attention to the crazy probes? Huh. Although having said that, I mean, Game still is on 4 bases, so it's still an acceptable economic situation for the Terran. His SCV count though, what the... Oh, looks like the back is mined out. Can send some vultures down there. But that is like no SCVs on his 3rd. Why does he not have any SCVs? Man, Largo SCV count really, really low. Game meanwhile is maxed now and is going to start banking a bunch of minerals. You should probably expand again and just build a bunch of gateways somewhere else. I mean, that's a normal thing to do on like 4-player big maps. You build a bunch of gateways at another main. It's a little bit more awkward on a 3-player map. But I mean, it's still a good idea. Basically, you need 1 billion more gateways now, because you're not doing anything else with your money, so let's make more gateways. Look like he's getting Storm as well. He can even just like backtech into carriers now. Well, not backtech, but switch into carriers. Oh, it looks like there's actually a recall here at the 6 o'clock. It looks like not too many units here, but might snipe the command center. Actually, might not. Ooh, it doesn't quite get it. The problem with this also is that, well, this is kind of weird, because he can't actually leave from the left side, because that's not mined out yet. But now that the bottom is mined out, he can actually walk into the Terran's main here, which is actually full of spider mines, like anti-recall mines. That's actually a really good idea. Wow, tons of anti-recall defense there for Largo. And Game might even need to use another recall just to get his units out. Actually, if he just groups his units, he can just recall them into the 3rd base here. That could be quite good. Or maybe not, because the army's there. Recall! And he's like, oh shit. And like half the units get stuck. Oh, big stasis on the tanks, doesn't really matter. Should have actually just stasis the SCVs for lulz. Meanwhile, random zealot runs into the main base. More random units just trolling everywhere. And Game has taken the bottom left natural. He's still got so many minerals in the bank. So Largo is devoting a lot of units to anti-recall defense. He's like super scared of a recall here. I mean, I was saying that recall is good on this map, but dude, defend your science facility. What the hell? Alright, he's pushing though, he's pushing. He's maxed. He's at 2-1 upgrades though. Actually, both players are at 2-1. There's some high tempo here. Can we get the storms off? Where's the storm? I don't see any storms. Storm! Come on, one more. No storm. Oh wow, this is not going game's way. Oh, that's the money storm. And looks like another EMP hitting one of these arbiters. Another arbiter does have energy for a stasis though, and does get the 3 tanks that were storms, possibly keeping them alive for now. But this small encampment of Terran units is going to get stormed again, but will survive the battle. So somewhat of an even exchange here, but Game just has so much more money banked that he can use to reproduce his army, whereas Largo just really doesn't. Doesn't even have 1,000 minerals. Game's at over almost 2,000 still, and now Largo getting a little bit out of position here with not enough units in this push. Although it looks like it's still just enough to push Game back once again. Game does have one more storm on there. These storms can actually be crucial once it gets to like these lower. Like around 150 supply engagements or 120 to 150, the storms are actually possibly even better than stasis, I think. It's only once you get to the super huge level armies that it's better to have a few more arbiters there. Meanwhile, Largo now mined out in his main, but he has floated the command center back here to the 6 o'clock. He has mined this out as well, so he can transfer the CVs. There we go. Sending those guys over, and Game is under siege here at this base. He's evacuated all the probes here. He is mining from this bottom left natural. He's trying to build a base here at the bottom left main. I think this probably should have been, or he probably should have tried this a little bit earlier. I don't know if he did or not and just got blocked, but you know, he had so much money back there for a while. I feel like this base should already be up and running for him. A few units getting lost in the back, and Largo mining away happily now at the 6 o'clock. Game in a little bit of trouble here. Might do well to go for some recall somewhere. I mean, even though the main base is mined up, the 3rd base here could get recall. The 4th base as well. But no, it looks like he's just going in from all sides here. And is it gonna be enough? It looks like a lot of tanks still left, but it's hard to tell. A stasis on 2 of the tanks. It's gonna be very, very close. I think Largo's gonna barely hold on. No, another random stasis on a single siege tank here, and it's gonna be a very even exchange, I think. A few reinforcements coming in for Largo, but more reinforcements. Oh man, that wave of zealots coming in from Game, I think, will clean this up. So Game, once again, kind of barely holding on, barely cleaning up the push with his reinforcing zealots here. And it looks like this will, in fact, go Game's way, even though he wasted possibly a few stasis there. That's alright. Well, I guess I shouldn't say wasted, because they did, in fact, help him hold that attack. Meanwhile, some probes being transferred back now to this 4th base that did, in fact, survive. But, you know, while that was going on, Largo did get the 6 o'clock, so even though he lost the push, it's not terrible for him, although he has actually dropped down to 107 supply, while Game is still at 163. He's still got enough money to max up fairly quickly here, so Largo, in a bit of a desperate spot here, even though he seems to be keeping up on expansions, he's mined out his main as natural now, he's basically on a base and a half, the half base here at the 3rd and the 6 o'clock 4th. Game, meanwhile, still basically, I guess, on 2.5 bases, so his economy isn't the most amazing. He's just got a much better bank than Largo. Still making it triple arbiters, using up all of his gases. You can see it's quite funny because a lot of times in the super late game PvT you end up with a little bit of extra gas because you're mainly focusing on zealots and dragoons. The High Templar and the arbiters are really support units, so unless you're going carriers you're not too worried about your gas. But actually in this case it's kind of the opposite here. He's going mass arbiter. Anyway, looks like Game moving down to this left side. He's finally gotten rid of that spider mine at the bottom left main, gonna add a nexus there. And it turns out that in fact it might have been better that he didn't add 1 billion gateways when he was banking so much money. I mean, he's slowly been adding them on, as you can see in his main. He's up to it's like 5, 10, 12, 14 gateways now in total. But really, with so many frequent engagements there, having to remax so many times, he actually managed to spend his bank quite well there. And Largo, of course, without the bank, is now down at almost no money and 135 supply. He's got this 6 o'clock base. He might actually even be able to take this top right base. He actually scanned there, it seems, to check for a barrel space. But that might actually be a good idea for him to take that side base. Even though I said in the beginning, you know, it seemed that Largo was focusing on the inside of the map and Game on the outside ring. In this case, because Largo can't really seem to get a grip on the middle of the map, perhaps he should just expand to that semi-island at the top right there. It looks like neither player really willing to risk that base. It is quite a vulnerable base right in between both players' mains. If they both mine out these minerals to try and access this top right base, it'll open up a lot of crazy attack paths between the main bases. So that could be quite interesting if it does come to that. Meanwhile, looks like a slow push up here towards the inside 12. Game still not taking that yet, and looks like game coming in from both sides here. A big flank attack coming in from the top and from the side, and it looks like, though, a lot of the tanks are kind of on this low ground. If he just sieges up here, it might be good, but it looks like, oh man, game gonna clean up everything that was on the high ground. Largo does siege up on the low ground, but I don't think it's enough, although game might not want to attack down into this choke point. No, it looks like he feels like he does have enough, and I think he does indeed. Running in with all the Zelts here, going to clean up all of these units. Largo in big trouble now, losing his army yet again, and with no money to reproduce. He's at 81 minerals. He cannot reproduce anything. Game still banking a ton of money. His bottom left main is now up. Not quite running yet, but he's going to be able to grab a few of those free units as they come out of stasis, and Largo just has almost nothing left here, so it's looking very much like game will take this to a game 7, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very exciting. And there finally is the probe transfer. Largo has decided to try and kill these temples. That's going to be a double-edged sword here, because while that will open up attack paths to this left side main, it does have a few cannons here, and that will simultaneously open up attacks to the 6 o'clock, although it looks like recalls means that that can get attacked regardless of whether that back is open or not, and the command center does get focused down. The Arbiter's still alive with, I think, enough energy for another recall. Yeah, almost enough energy for yet another recall, and GG from Largo. Game ties it up 3-3. We are going to a game 7. Can the commander, the fearless leader of LRM, take down Reps here? I mean, he's already stopped Largo's all kill. There's just one more player to go. Who's it going to be? Can Reps close it out?